Rainforest to Bush Cultural Experiences is a family-based business. We're located on the Atherton Tablelands, and we provide cultural tours of our traditional homelands, which on our grandfather's side is Yidinji country, which is our rainforest area, and on our grandmother's side is Mbabaram country, which is the open woodland area a little further west of Atherton. As Yidinji and Mbabaram people, we are connected to our land, our plants and trees, all of our animals. So with a lot of the history or the recent history of what happened on Mbabaram country, there was a time when the Mbabaram people got reduced down to just two old men. So as you can imagine, there was a really big loss of culture.
For our project, we surveyed the biodiversity of the dry savanna at the Watsonville Culture Park in far north Queensland, Australia. Our goal was to identify a wide range of fauna on the traditional homelands of the Mbabaram people, including birds, invertebrates, and mammals. Our project expands on the work of previous students who surveyed biodiversity during the 2025 wet season. Combined with our data from the 2025 dry season, we hope to increase understanding of the year-round species diversity of Watsonville for tourists and Mbabaram First Nations people.
So biodiversity is the variety of flora and fauna in an area, and it's a key indicator of a healthy ecosystem. So when we have a high level of diversity, it generally means that the ecosystem is thriving with different species filling different functional guilds. The amount of functional guilds that are filled is what we call functional diversity, and this functional diversity helps the ecosystem stay balanced and adapt to change. And so that's why monitoring biodiversity at the Watsonville Culture Park is so important, as it helps us understand the overall health of the land.
To collect data, we headed to the Watsonville Cultural Park, where we camped for 4 days to survey for dung beetles, butterflies and moths, mammals, and birds. We established 4 100-meter transects, and on each transect, we deployed a trail camera for 1 month, and placed 6 evenly spaced pitfall traps with alternating bait types, mushroom, dung, and carrion, to survey dung beetles. During the daytime, we conducted sweep netting for butterflies, which were identified in specimen jars before being released or pinned for the SFS Watsonville collection. At night, we spotlighted for animals along transects and used light sheeting at base camp to survey moths. Each morning, bird surveys were conducted at the start and end point of each transect, with birds identified by call or sight. Unknown calls were recorded for later identification.
After the surveys, specimens of dung beetles, moths, and butterflies were taken to the lab for identification. Dung beetles and butterflies were pinned and added to the SFS Watsonville collection. We also reviewed trail camera footage to identify photographed species. Combined with wet season data, we found a total of 2,788 individuals, including 2,178 invertebrates and 610 vertebrates. For invertebrates, we recorded 123 butterflies and moth species and 12 dung beetle species. For vertebrates, we recorded 53 species, 14 were mammals, and 39 were birds.
After identifying species, we used literature to assign each animal to a feeding guild, which is a group of organisms that exploit similar ecological resources to obtain food. The mammals we identified belong to 8 guilds, such as nectarivores like the little red flying fox, frugivores like the common brush-tailed possum, and insectivores like the sugar glider. For birds, we also found 8 feeding guilds, including omnivores like the Kookaburra, granivores like the squatter pigeon, and nectarivores like the rainbow lorikeet.
So with dung beetles, you have a lot of different what we call functional guilds. So the 3 main ones are how they use the dung. So you've got 3 main types: rollers, dwellers, and tunnelers. We don't actually have dwellers in Australia, so we are really just looking at rollers and tunnelers. So tunnelers, they will take some of that dung pile and they will bury it straight down into the ground, and then they will lay an egg in that little ball of dung. And then rollers, on the other hand, they will take a portion of dung, they will make it into a ball, they will roll it some distance, and then bury it down and lay their eggs in it. And the way that they kind of take and utilize this dung can have different implications for the ecosystem.
All 12 of our dung beetle species were tunnelers. However, they exhibited temporal resource partitioning, with 5 species being diurnal and 7 species being nocturnal. This indicates a healthy mammal population of both diurnal and nocturnal species.
Overall, our functional guild analysis of dung beetles, mammals, and birds showed that many functional niches are being filled by a variety of species at the Watsonville Cultural Park. Additionally, strong nectarivores richness in the dry and wet season indicates stable year-round nectar resource, while high invertebrate presence reflects high biodiversity supporting ecosystem service such as pollination, seed dispersal, nutrient cycling, and soil health. Our results also reveal species of conservation significance on the cultural park, like the spectacled flying fox, which is listed as endangered. We also observed the squatter pigeon, a Savannah specialist with a restricted range.
Ultimately, our research shows that the Watsonville Culture Park is an important habitat for threatened species and species with restricted habitat preferences. Additionally, increasing our understanding of functional guilds gives us a holistic overview of the health and stability of the Watsonville Culture Park ecosystem. While we recorded many fauna during our study, Our surveys were intended to just be a snapshot of biodiversity. Further research and additional survey methods could be done over a longer period of time to build off of our findings. Finally, our biodiversity surveys can help contribute to knowledge of country for First Nations people.
So having the help of environmental students come on board and having that extra manpower to go out and do the surveys and the studies and the documenting really helped not only rainforest to bush, but also the Mbabaram and the Yidinji people as a whole. So we're not only trying to preserve a lot of this knowledge for ourselves, but something that we can share with our community, and it's preserved. So I think I see it as a really good partnership, rainforest to bush and the skillful field studies, and hopefully it continues on and we do more projects together.